Today on Investigate TV Plus, a drug typically found in the operating room is being used to treat people's deepest depression.
I took the eye mask off and I said, everybody needs access to this.
Our investigation reveals how ketamine therapy works and why it may not be available to those who need it most.
Plus, school shootings prompt districts to evaluate and in some cases drastically revise their security. How this high-tech hub could be a solution.
Then, a near centenarian celebrates a centuries-old art form. In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. It's a difficult conversation, but an important one, because every 11 minutes, an American dies by suicide. I'm Tisha Pell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. We're going to be talking about it throughout this story, so we want you to know help is always available via the phone or text to 988.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, in 2022, suicide was responsible for almost 50,000 deaths.
Depression and other mental health concerns are among the complicating factors involved in suicide and suicide attempts.
For those who face the most serious cases of depression, relief could already be on the horizon.
A drug used as an anesthetic for decades is getting fresh consideration for its potential mental health benefits.
Reporter Kristen Crowley explains why experts say ketamine could be the answer.
Can an anesthetic pull people from the depths of depression? There's growing evidence it can.
There are many medications that are used off-label, and this is one that has been wildly successful.
While the FDA has not approved ketamine for psychiatric use, clinical studies reveal most participants saw a significant decrease in symptoms after just 24 hours.
60 milligrams of ketamine,
including Nell Katie, once planning her suicide, saw immediate effects.
The experiences, the feeling of floating for me, very serene.
At this ketamine clinic in Savannah, Georgia, experts say the dose is highly regulated and most effective when paired with talk therapy.
This is a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. We're not just doing this for fun. We're not just doing this to have a brief feeling of being better or feeling better. This is really in order to work on understanding the underlying issues.
In 2019, the Department of Veterans Affairs announced it would offer this breakthrough drug.
And here's why that's important. Veterans make up 6% of the population, yet account for 22% of suicides.
But 5 years after the decision, we found just because the VA offers this treatment doesn't mean it's available to all veterans who qualify.
Reporter Meredith Anderson explains why.
I've spoken to people who say, no question, ketamine saved their life. But I also found a staggering 86% of VA networks do not offer ketamine treatments. So if the government isn't stepping up, who is?
Jason Pierce has a lot of photos from his 2 decades in the military. First, he joined the Air Force. When he retired, he was a major in the Army. His pictures paint a picture of success, promotions, higher education, travel, friendship. But in those pictures, his smile became part of his camouflage.
Do you feel like you have some trauma from your time in the military?
Yeah, definitely. I was diagnosed with PTSD and given disability kind of on my way out.
Jason's wounds were deep, but he never saw traditional combat. As an Army social work officer, he was embedded with each of his patients on their own private battlefields, helping them navigate everything from sexual assault to losing limbs to losing battle buddies, either to enemy forces or to suicide.
I've been taking on other people's trauma my entire military career.
As he was taking pictures of his own experiences, he was also saving mental snapshots of his patients' experiences. And over time, it became a dangerous scrapbook known as vicarious trauma.
You're working just pushing and pushing and pushing to help everybody else that you forget to help yourself.
The Department of Justice warns those who work with victims, law enforcement, EMS, firefighters, and people like Jason are particularly at risk of vicarious trauma due to their continuous exposure.
There's just not enough mental health care out there.
As a nurse practitioner, Lauren Bursey saw it firsthand in military hospitals.
A lot of patients I saw for knee pain, and I'm like, we have way bigger problems than the knee pain. And so I would refer those patients to behavioral health.
But the military is notorious for long wait times and a shortage of behavioral health providers. So Lauren wanted another option for her patients. Enter ketamine.
Have you ever seen something work this well?
For this, no. Not at all.
But not every VA offers IV ketamine therapy. We found only 24 of them do. Augusta is not on that list. Only one in Georgia offers it. None in South Carolina do. The VA's own website says its top clinical priority is to prevent veteran suicide. Yet years after the VA approved it to treat severely depressed veterans, only 14%, 24 of the nation's 172 VA medical centers can offer IV ketamine. Instead, people like Lauren are stepping in and opening private clinics.
I feel like this can help a lot of people.
Then why isn't it more widely available? Why are you the only one in Augusta?
I will say ketamine has been a bad word for a long time.
Most recently, because of Matthew Perry. His cause of death, the medical examiner ruled, the acute effects of ketamine. Perry had been treating his depression and anxiety with ketamine therapy, but levels found in his autopsy were enough to knock him out for surgery, far exceeding levels in his treatment. Ketamine abuse is nothing new. For decades, Special K was known as a club drug popular at raves. It can cause hallucinations and has been used as a date rape drug. Lauren says, don't confuse that with IV ketamine therapy, where the ketamine is highly regulated, unlike the street drug. It's also given in her office, a highly controlled setting where the patient is monitored, and the dose is small enough that the patient is still in control.
I mean, I have a guy who's 21 days sober and hasn't been in 7 years. It's a big deal.
Which brings us back to Jason. After getting the help he needed, Jason went back to helping others as a therapist out of the Army. He wondered if ketamine therapy might help him and some of his patients, so he made an appointment with Lauren.
As soon as I came out of that first session with her, I took the eye mask off and I said, everybody needs access to this. Everybody needs access to this.
The recommended protocol is 6 infusions in 28 days, but Jason says he saw an immediate and life-changing effect after just one.
I don't want to say free, but free.
Really?
Really. Yep. Having to have a pill caddy for morning and night to no medications.
No medications means no side effects. So Jason says he can be the best version of himself at work with his patients and at home with his family.
The VA also offers S-ketamine. It's a nasal spray. We found 30 locations offer that, so it's more accessible. But still, that's only 17% of VA networks. The VA has something called community care, where private healthcare providers step in. Lauren, whose husband is a veteran, is trying to get her clinic, Elevated Health, on that list. She says she's also applying for grants in hopes veterans don't have to pay out of pocket for treatment. In Augusta, Georgia, I'm Meredith Anderson.
Again, if you or someone you know is struggling, you can call or text the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988. It's free and available 24/7.
Still ahead, hackers can use Bluetooth to take control of your phone. We'll tell you how to protect your most personal possession.
But first, eyes in the sky. The school district boasting thousands of cameras in the name of campus safety.
There's no question children deserve to be safe at school.
Yet data shows school shootings are becoming far more frequent. The K-12 school shooting database tracks every time a bullet is fired on school property. It found between 2020 and 23, the number of shootings tripled. and more than 700 people were hurt or killed.
As tragedy strikes, schools deploy new security measures in hopes of stopping a future attack. Some examples are metal detectors and school resource officers. One school district in Tennessee is taking a more high-tech approach to security.
Reporter Stacey Cameron shows us how thousands of cameras could keep schools secure.
If one picture is worth 1,000 words, how valuable is a wall of live video?
This is our Security Operations Center.
Well, if your job is overseeing security for Clarksville, Montgomery County schools, then what you see here is priceless. Because according to Emily Bowers, if an emergency unfolds on any CMCS campus, her team can pull up footage from between 80 and 120 live streams from that specific school.
We're able to manipulate these screens based on the situations.
Then immediately relay what they're seeing to school security and police responding to that incident.
And the vision here was to make sure that we can be proactive and reactive at the same time.
The vision of a real-time security operations center came into focus in 2019, a year after the Parkland school shooting in Florida. Today, CMCS now has more than 4,000 HD cameras whose live and recorded footage can be pulled up on 68 big screen monitors, giving the center a 24/7 bird's eye view of nearly every corner of every school in the district. Working alongside district security is Sergeant Shelby Largent.
Right here we have the Sheriff's Office, the bus complex, and also the Clarksville Police Department's radio systems.
And 2 other Montgomery County Sheriff's deputies. Sergeant Largent says thanks to the technology installed here, the district has a unique ability to give law enforcement real-time intelligence during emergencies like a student disappearing from campus, a suspicious package dropped off at a school, or the approach of an armed intruder.
Really, this has a million possibilities. We can utilize this for just about any kind of incident that you can imagine.
Here's an example of how the district can use this technology. Imagine a person comes to one of the district schools that shouldn't be there. If they want to track that person's movement, once they got on campus, they can see cameras that show them the minute that they drive up, the door they go through to enter the school, and then every movement that they make once they've gotten inside the school building and everywhere they go from there.
Ultimately, our goal is to have no delay. If a situation is to occur, to be able to respond rapidly, instantly.
To meet that goal, CMCS spokesperson Anthony Johnson says the district uses the Security Operations Center to see exactly how schools respond to unannounced emergency drills.
If they score less than 100, they have to complete a survey and tell us how they're going to improve in those areas.
Bowers says the center's cost came in around $400,000 and it was funded entirely by grants. She says the system was up and running within a year because the district used its own technology and maintenance employees to install it. In Nashville, Tennessee, I'm Stacey Cameron.
The idea of surveilling students does come with some criticism.
In 2023, the American Civil Liberties Union released a survey of about 500 high school-age students.
While 40% of students said surveillance cameras made them feel safe, some reported feeling anxious, exposed, and violated. Still ahead, proof it's never too late to chase your dreams.
I think it's wonderful to do that, this age.
How she reignited her passion for painting.
But first, an accidental annoyance, or is there ill intent? We'll tell you how a hijacked hot tub speaker is causing severe stress for this family. Many of us connect to wireless headphones or go hands-free in the car with Bluetooth. Cyber criminals can also use it to target unsuspecting victims, and there are a couple of methods.
The first is called bluejacking, when an attacker sends unsolicited messages to your device in hopes of stealing your information. There's also blue snarfing, when a hacker steals information from your phone through Bluetooth. Experts say it often works on older devices with out-of-date security software. One of the most dangerous is blue bugging, where a criminal takes complete control of your device. If you want to keep criminals off your phone, cybersecurity experts recommend turning Bluetooth Bluetooth off when you're not using it. We want to share some more solutions in a moment.
But first, an Arizona family says they faced a Bluetooth blunder when their hot tub speaker started making loud and annoying sounds.
Reporter Gary Harper shows us how this hot tub hijacking happened.
Oh my gosh, I love this thing. I've never had a hot tub before.
Erica Dracino says she has a stressful job, so she and her family thought getting a hot tub would be perfect to relax in.
Yeah, I mean, if I feel it in my body, I'm tense, I need to have some kind of, outlet for that, and I love water.
Erica and her husband wound up buying this hot tub made by Wella Spa. It includes a Bluetooth speaker, so Erica can connect her smartphone and play music. At first, everything was great, but then the hot tub seemed to develop a mind of its own and started blasting weird noises at all times of the day. Erica started recording the unexpected noises, which sometimes was just static. But other times it was music that she didn't listen to, along with movies and sounds of video games.
Sounds like a coin slot.
Yeah.
Oh, like a game.
I mean, like the bling and level up sounds, the click, like the ch-ch-ch-ch. I mean, we could sit there and just hear it click, 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 click.
As if somebody's texting.
Yes.
And again, it happens day and night, loud enough to hear from inside her family's home.
It's like a bassy noise you hear, because when the lid's closed, the sound kind of bounces off the top. So you hear like a little bassiness, and that's when my son is really good at picking up on, like, oh, hey, Dad, the hot tub's going.
The ongoing and unexpected noises from their Bluetooth is driving Erica and her family bananas, and they believe the device is being hijacked by someone nearby. That's because their Bluetooth speaker requires a 4-digit PIN for Erica to connect every time she wants to hear music. She and her family believe whoever is connecting to their hot tub has commandeered that PIN and is doing it intentionally.
When we told the hot tub dealers, they laughed. They're like, aha, you must have made someone mad. I mean, that's usually most people's response, is like, you must have made somebody mad, which is not fair to us because we have no idea who it is, what's going on, the message is not being delivered.
When the mystery person is connected, Erica and her family can't even get on, and booting the hijacker off of their system isn't easy.
And I don't think you're really supposed to do this, but this is the only option we have.
They have to unplug the breaker, plug it back in, and then immediately enter the PIN before the hijacker can.
They just think we'll go away and be quiet and just get over it, and we don't feel like we should have to because it's an expensive piece of equipment.
The family tells us the hot tub's Bluetooth system uses what's called a universal PIN, and they can't change it. Many Bluetooth devices use universal pins like 0000 and 1234 to make connecting easier, but it can result in what's called cross-pairing, where your device connects to something it didn't intend to. All right, I'm throwing this out there. Is it on purpose that someone's doing that, or could it just be an accident? They have the same pin, or, I could see my parents like not even knowing what they're doing and doing something like that,
It's all totally wild. I have so many issues with hot tubs, but thinking about it being hijacked was not one of them.
Not one of those issues,
No.
yes. And I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I didn't mean to call you out like that.
Oh, it's all right. They love you.
Yes.
Well, to avoid Bluetooth attacks, cybersecurity experts recommend keeping your device updated. They also say that you should never pair your device with a stranger, and if you receive a file from an unknown number via Bluetooth, don't open it.
Still ahead, caring for her craft.
This is my happy place.
How this woman fulfilled a lifelong dream while giving new life to an old art form. Rose maling is a type of decorative folk art that originated in 18th century Norway. The word literally means rose painting in Norwegian.
Today, a woman in Wisconsin has an entire home filled with the art form.
Reporter Jeff Alexander shows us what inspired her giant collection.
When you step inside Dora Slang's 100-year-old home near Surrey, you're guaranteed a couple of things. First, her beautiful artwork, known as rose maling, is everywhere, from the ceiling to the doors.
It's like the flowers come out of a vase. That's the way they are.
And on just about everything else in between. Second, there's a good chance you'll find Dora in her little art room.
This is my happy place, yes.
Working on her latest creation.
You build on your project. You see, you do the background. Anything in the background you do first. As you can see, I did the leaves.
With a dab of oil paint on her brush, Dora is in heaven. Her hand is as steady as it gets.
This is the middle value, goes on first, and then you add the other two.
Growing up on a nearby farm, Dora dreamed of becoming an artist, but her days back then involved school and helping out with chores.
I always was interested in some kind of art, but I wasn't really exposed to much of anything.
That changed, though, in the early 1970s when a friend from church invited her to a rose mauling class in Green Bay. Dora had never heard of it. Within a few years, Northeast Wisconsin Technical College started offering rose mauling classes in Gillett. Dora never missed one.
There's an S and there's a C, and that's really the basis of rose mauling.
So just how many rose mauling creations are we talking about over the years?
Well, I know it's over 300. Because I'm writing a book now on rose mauling.
Dora's book on rose mauling will be titled My Love Story. It will be her third book, as she's also written one on her family history and another one on the history of her church, where she still volunteers. Along with still giving rose mauling lessons herself, which she has for the last 40 years, Dora still paints almost every day.
Every time I take a lesson, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah.
You're always, and it probably keeps you young.
Well, I hope so.
And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, after a teen's heart stops, he's thankful his school had critical equipment.
I got very lucky that there was an AED that saved my life.
But our investigation found not all schools have this device. We take an in-depth look at the effort to save student lives.